Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdette's NewsStand, and I want to go over the new Justice League Dark Apokolips War movie. It is ending out the DCAU, but we are going to talk in slight detail about where it could go from here. Now, I want to review this movie in its entirety, and I will warn you before I get to any spoilers. So, the screenplay on this was done by Marguerite Scott, and she did a fantastic job. And, it's 100% at Rotten Tomatoes right now, and those things aren't really trustable. So, when you look around, I do see most people saying they enjoyed this. Me, personally, I think it was one of the best, if not the best, from DC Universe. It was bleak, it was dark, it was, compassionate in places, it was funny. It had all the layers of all of the DC characters. It had throwbacks to old stuff, in the comics. It very much so reminded me of Darkseid War, but at the end of the day, it gave us a fresh perspective looking out to what the DCAU could do from here on out. And most of their movies are very well done. I was just overly impressed by this one, and I'll talk about exactly why. It's not just cinematography or the script. It goes down to even the interactions between the characters, or simple stuff like Matt Ryan did a fantastic job as Constantine, and it's nice to see Constantine take front and center. Now, I do think we are going to see more Justice League Dark stuff. Obviously, we have the HBO show coming from J.J. Abrams. I know some people are a little hesitant about that, but even so, I'm excited. Justice League Dark, the comic, has been doing so well. It has been selling pretty well. Witching Hour was fantastic. It has been reading better than most titles at DC. It's definitely top 5. So I'm excited to see Justice League, the dark version, take front and center for the first time in a really long time. And they have such good characters like Zatanna or Swamp Thing that aren't utilized in a way where DC should have been utilizing them for years. And I think finally they caught it and realized, you know what? We have really good money makers here. Let's take advantage of it. So obviously this comes from Warner Brother Animation and DC Entertainment. It just came out on digital May 5th. And I do believe they are having a Blu-ray DVD release on May 19th. It's only an hour and a half long. And, okay, we're going to get into the spoiler review here. So I just want to give you a warning. But before I do that, I do think with everything that the DCAU is doing, with this, again, spoilers, with this starting over, we are going to see one and dones from here on out. We are going to see differences in voice actors, and we are going to get fresh designs, new fresh designs, and a fresh start. So I definitely think this is a good direction. Even though I do like the DCAU continuity, I do think it's smart to do the one-shot type movie. So, spoilers, you've had your warning. Now let's actually get into this review. So, we see, most of this is going to be Constantine, right? And we're getting basically, they're going to Apokolips. And Constantine has joined the Justice League. Along with Zatanna, they are in love. And they are headed towards Apokolips to save the world, right? They're going to save the world. That doesn't go as planned. And we actually see a massacre right in the beginning. We learn, right away Zatanna dies. And like I said, it's bleak. It's dark. It's definitely dark. So we are introduced to paradooms, which are parademons mixed with doomsday. And that really, really parademons are bad enough, but mixed with that DNA, they are going to just basically massacre everything and anything they touch, including the Justice League. And that's exactly what they do. So, basically, we see Constantine able to transport back to Earth 2 years later, and Clark comes in with Raven, and we learn more about what happened there. We saw, I'm not going to go in exact order because I do think it's important to kind of put things in perspective. We saw almost everybody from the Justice League captured in one way or another. Clark was imprinted with liquid kryptonite. He has no more powers. Batman was forced onto the Mobius chair. Wonder Woman and some of the others, Mara, Starfire, they were all made into these cyborg-like robots that listen to Darkseid's every wish. And then towards the end, we will learn that Cyborg has basically become the Source Wall, and he's unable to be removed from that, I guess is the best way. So we have so many deaths. I said Zatanna, and a big part of it was that, obviously Constantine they're in love. He did nothing to try to save her, and it's a big regret of his. He actually ran away, transported back to Earth, and basically left her there to die. Like, that was the part that irritated me the most. I'm like, oh, you pussy, go back there and help her. Anyways, so we have got, Green Lantern's dead. Hawkman is in one of these robots. So, and the Joker has died. So, we see Etrigan. He is hanging out. And they say he's gloomy about a friend that dies, but I don't think they ever actually specify who dies. And Nightwing has also died, but they've brought him back with the Lazarus Pit. So, he's basically gone mad. Now, we see, Clark and Raven asking for help. She's having this issue with her dad, obviously, in her stone. Trigon is trying to control her, and that's going to be a big plot point towards the end. And they all go to League of Assassins to try to find Damian. Now, Damian is one of my least favorite characters when it comes to the comics. He's my least favorite Robin in Super Sons. I really did enjoy his character a lot more. But in this one, he was really, really endearing. We do see a romance between him and Raven that's been hinted at all along throughout the DCAU. And I know there's a lot of Beast Boy and Raven shippers, so it's kind of a weird, couple there. But I don't mind it one bit. So, we see this fight at the League of Assassins, and actually I believe this is where Shiva dies. So we do see Shiva die too. And then we go, and they're going to need a locator spell from Constantine. That's the reason they get him. And it doesn't really all work out. And I'm not going to go through everything. But they need to get back to Apokolips. And they need Lois, who is alive at this point, needs to get to LexCorp. But that also involves bringing the Suicide Squad in because they need backup, right? So one of my favorite parts of this was when we're going to help you now because you were able to do just exactly what you said. So we see a lot of them join. We see Cheetah, Captain Boomerang, Bane, Black Manta, all of King Shark. So we get the Suicide Squad, and she does the nursery rhymes all the time. But one of my favorite parts is when she's using her mallet and she's smashing her, enemy's head. And they kind of have like a sexual innuendo. She's smashing it. And she goes kind of berserk. And she's like, oh, I need a cigarette. I don't know. It was really good. And I'm a Harley fan anyway. But when you bring Harley back, that's really, really true to form Harley. That's when I, can chill quite a bit. So we go on from there, and they're all working together. They need to get to Lex, and obviously I'm shortening this up quite a bit. But they need to get to Lex, and Lex is being controlled by Batman, who's being controlled, obviously, by the Mobius chair, and by Darkseid. So he's entering, basically answering to Batman. And Batman is going to be the key to the end of this. Getting him separate from the Mobius chair. And that's exactly why they needed Damian to, get that memory back, to bring his dad back around. So they get to Lex, and Lex basically has to help them. He gives Superman a suit. He gets, they have to use the boom tube. Well, they can't use, Cyborg's boom tube, so they have to use the one at LexCorp. And during this time, there's a whole huge massacre of Oa. Like, everything by the end of this is going to be gone. And they're able to use the boom tube. And I'm getting towards the end here of things, because I don't, I really do think you should watch this. But at the end, there's a part where they're trying to fight off the Paradooms. And it's the Suicide Squad, and it's Lois and Lex. And we see Lex die, we see Captain Boomerang die, we see all these people die. And, Lois is just trying to tell Clark one last time that she loves him. It was really, really good. There's a lot of goodbyes in this. And it's like, I may have cried, I may not have. I will never tell the truth. Anyways, so we see Trigon eventually does get released from Raven. And right away, the second he gets released, Constantine says, "Here, I'm a willing host." And he snaps his neck. I literally gasped. I literally was like, oh my god, because I didn't expect how bleak and how dark this movie was going to be. It was fantastic. Damian does and is going against Batman, and he's trying to break him out of it. And the things Batman says to him, I never wanted you. He talks about his mother and everything else, and then stabs him right in the leg. And I'm like, holy shit, everybody is dying. But he is able to get through to Batman to a point and get him separated from the Mobius chair. And when Constantine dies, he goes in a dream state, right? He's finally, Zatanna was able to pull strings and get him into heaven. And you think they're going to get their happy ever after. You really, really do. And I love that. I was excited, Sure, he's dead, but he got Zatanna back. And at the end of the day, love is what matters, right? So, oh no. Batman had a safeguard. So he is pulled back in to the world. And because they need him, they can't win without him. So we also see... I was talking about Batman and Damian, I can't remember. Oh, I think Trigon burns him. And, he's dead. He's dying. He's there. He's burnt. We get another goodbye from father to son. And I'm like, oh, just so freaking amazing. And we also, I didn't talk too much about Diana. She was obviously turned into a robot, like I said earlier. But during this fight, we have a really great battle with all of the good guys that were turned into robots. And, Diana is able to, or I think it's Etrigan, is able to basically sacrifice himself so they can get Diana back. And that's really what they need. So we do see Etrigan die too. Like, it is bleak. And then we get, almost to the end, and we're seeing Clark versus Darkseid, right? They're trying to fight. And when Trigon came out, he didn't want Constantine. He broke his neck. He went straight into Clark. Well, when he did that, he also burnt the liquid kryptonite out. So when Lois is saying goodbye, and I love you because she is, she does die, he comes back. Right? He comes back and realizes what's going on, and he's able to contain Trigon, and he's able to kind of, put Darkseid to the side so everybody else can use Cyborg. Cyborg's going to get everybody out of there and safe. And then we see Raven. She's extremely distraught. She just lost Damian. She lost her love, and she's crying, and she's able to heal him, and he is able to come back. But during this time, they don't know what they're going to do. They need to get out, but they don't want to leave Clark behind. So they end up letting Trigon out. Trigon is actually really happy with this. He has a full-time enemy and somebody he can constantly fight with, and they're able to escape. Well, it sounds like a good, ending, right? They're able to escape. They get back to Earth, but it's not going to work. It says, I believe it's Clark who says there's going to be another billion dead before they can even make the Earth, because the molten core being so distinguished, or so run down, that people are just going to continuously die. So what has to be done at this point? What can they do to save humanity, to save themselves? They need a fresh start. So we're getting Flashpoint basically at the end. And obviously we had a Flashpoint earlier in the DCAU. But now Flash has to make that decision. He promised Iris, who is dead, that he would, never do that again. Well, that's exactly what he has to do. We see Flash run off, and that's the end of the movie. There is no DCAU at this point anymore. The slate is wiped clean. And my God, it couldn't have been done in a better fashion. I'm not even kidding you. I don't care if you know the end and you listen to this entire thing. The journey to get there was so well done. These characters were so true to form. The writing was so good. The joke. I don't want to sit here and chill, but I feel like this is one of those movies that everybody should see before the DCAU restarts, so you know where it's going. And not only that, but you actually get to see this journey, and there's so many characters within this. There really, really is. And it's very similar to Darkseid War in a way. Obviously, there is some differences, but had you not seen the other movies to lead up to this, it wouldn't have mattered. You don't need to know the continuity. You can enjoy it for what it is. I was really, really impressed. I must say, it was way better than Hush, and I just reviewed that not that long ago, too, so I really enjoyed it. It was like an emotional roller coaster. And, for me to cry twice in a movie, DC, I am not happy with you. No, I'm just kidding. It was fantastic. I loved everything about it. Let me know if you guys have seen this movie, or if you're interested in seeing this movie, or where you think that the DCAU could go from here, because we're starting over. So I'm really curious to see what story they pick on first. Hopefully it's something, maybe Court of Owls, something like that. Something new, something fresh, something we can get. Maybe even Earth 1 Batman would be a great start. I don't know. There's so many we could pick from, but let me know what your favorite one would be for them to start with in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon and subscribe stars. You guys literally make this channel possible. Huge thank you to Cage the Mick, Robert Mick Twiz, Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris Z, David L, David Rafford, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Mighty Balls, Mike Buckner, Maizen Barbosa, Ruskar, Ryan Deckert, and Doc Holliday. You guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget on the way out to like as always if you enjoy the content, and hit subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.